Motorcycles. I like them. I thought today would be fun, and I've had a few requests to have a look at some of the bikes in the old garage here and maybe see what's what. And some of them are rideable and some of them are projects, and I won't have time to get into all of them, but I thought let's have a look at a few, and maybe we can pick one or two to put together over the next year or two. There's nothing here that's really that exotic, but you know, I got into bikes about 28 years ago. When I quit drinking beer, I saved up my beer money for 1 month and I bought this motorcycle here. Anyhow, that's kind of how I got started on them, because my brother Andy, Agent 8771, had recently bought one and I was pretty jealous. So anyhow, I thought it'd be fun. We'll have a quick look at a few of the bike projects here. And then when we get to finishing them, we'll have a bit more understanding of where they came from. Of course, this was my first motorcycle and still the one I use the most. And it's just been excellent. I bought this bike in 1997. It's a 1972 Honda CB750. At the time, these were not particularly hard to find, and they still aren't, although they will cost you more than they used to. Anyhow, painted this one last year, put it back to the correct candy gold, and it's been just an absolute hammer. See, there's no oil underneath it, never has been. I've never had the engine apart in this machine, other than for tune-up stuff. It's been really reliable. I've put quite a few miles on, but I'm not going to pretend I ride as much as I like or as much as I used to, just largely because of having dogs, right? You're more of a car girl, hey? Okay. So's everybody. Yeah, it's been a really good machine. I can see why they were so popular. So much for the one that we actually use. Let's have a look at some of these other ones that are maybe in the pipeline. Still kind of cold to be thinking about motorcycles, but here we are. This is a standard poodle. It's about 7 years old and it's very nice. This is a... Hey, get out of the way, please. Here's another old Honda. This is 1974 CB354. As far as I know, this was the smallest of Honda's 4-cylinder range at the time, and this would be superseded by the CB400 soon after, which was quite a well-renowned machine. Anyway, the 354, actually very similar in proportion and design to the 750, just kind of on a 3/4 scale. I think I must have bought this thing probably 15 years ago from a neighbor's estate sale, and I've never actually gotten it running, never tried really, but it does kick over and I don't think there's anything seriously wrong with it. So something I'm looking forward to putting together. You can see the headlight and you know, fork gator or guards or whatever, the little ears that hold the headlight. That's all missing because the bike had a fairing on it when I got it. Fairing's gone. I have a box of all the pieces that it needs right there. So I've been gathering bits for this. So this is near the top of the list of motorcycles I would like to get picking at. These are quite fun machines. They sound awesome. 4 carburetors, 4 cylinders. Each one is 88 cc's or whatever. And yeah, a neat old machine and pretty good starting point. The obviously the paint and bodywork's bad, but it's not rusted out, it's not broken, it's not crashed. It's a decent machine and largely complete gauges there. I have lots of little bits and stuff for the engine to put it back together, and I think a worthwhile project. This is probably second or third on the list of bikes that we'll get to, and it needs, you know, it needs all the usual stuff, but it's a good starting point. So 1974 Honda. Hi Breakers, what do you think? Yes, what a nice girl. Right, here we have another 1974 machine. I think it is anyway, it might be a 73. This Yamaha XS650, pretty popular bike in its day. Not in terrific shape, but I do remember when I bought this place, I rode this bike in here and shut it off, and that was 20 something years ago. I don't think it's been started once since, but still rolls over. just fine. I come in and kick them all over every few months just to make sure that they don't stick. It's basically sound. As I say, I did ride it and the engine seems good. The cosmetics are terrible on the thing. I had plans to make a track style street bike out of it, but all that stuff, I don't know, once everybody starts doing that, I kind of lose interest in it, and so I think I'm leaning towards putting it back closer to stock, or at least very, very mildly customized. Very popular bike in its day. Apparently not a great handling bike. The frames are a bit rubber band, but my friend had one, and it was always fun to get off of the Honda and onto this, and it just seemed so much lighter. I think part of it is that the engine is a lot narrower, and there's a lot, it's very, very easy bike to get comfortable on very quickly. And I bought this because my friend also, Scott, had one, and he had a very nice 72 model, which they got a little nicer tank, but they're getting hard to find. I found this thing, I think I paid $275 for this, and I rode it home, so you wouldn't find that deal today. They're sought after now by Jap bike collectors, and they make great choppers, you know, so you can have a lot of fun with these. I'm leaning towards putting it back to stock. There's lots of support for these bikes, lots of parts available. It kind of loosely patterned after the late 60s British bikes, and they did very well. And I think they made these in various increasingly ugly forms right up through the early 80s. I like the earlier ones with the flat seat, and you know, they don't have the big ape hanger handlebars, and later ones they had a step seat, and they made specials, and they had gold badges, you know, and they kind of Trans Am'd them up a bit throughout the 70s, but still a pretty handsome bike in its earlier form, which we have here. But I would like, if I could find a 1970-71 tank. They just have some nice lines in them that makes them more fun to paint. But not a terrible machine. Alloy wheels, kind of some fun stuff. Disc brake on this model. First ones did not have. This one I would say is second from the top of the list in terms of getting done. I wasn't actually going to include this guy, but I think I will just very briefly. This bike is one of the bunch that I bought with Jim about 5 years ago-ish. This is a Suzuki, I don't even know what the model is. Should do a little more research before I do these videos, eh? Like learn what kind of bikes these are and stuff. There we go. Finally, it's a Suzuki As50. What makes this bike kind of fun is that it's actually a 5 or 6 speed transmission. I don't actually, whoops, and there's pieces falling off. So you actually end up with a 50cc bike capable of pretty decent speeds for you know, something that the competition would have been mopeds. So a pretty cool machine. I'm not sure where it sits on the list on the timeline, just because there's a lot to be done here, and it might be a situation where I'm going to wait for another one to come along. I don't generally like restoring stuff until you have parts, and in the end this might be the parts for one that I do restore. It's pretty rough, but I was pretty excited to get it. I've never seen one. I don't know if they're actually rare or if they're just old junk. So somewhere in between rare and old junk, we have this 1970-ish Suzuki 50. I just love the styling of it, actually. That's what would make me do it, is this tank is just lovely. And it's got this cool little solo seat with the little tailpiece on it, and it looks like a lot more serious machine than maybe it is, but I don't know. I would really enjoy riding this thing. So last but not least, another Honda 750. This is a 1971 model, and I bought this I think in the late 90s, 98, 99, somewhere. And I had it fixed up and I rode it for a year or two before more or less going back on the other one full time. Biggest problem with this machine is the engine is completely worn out, and other than that, it's a pretty decent bike. I actually had it right down to the frame and painted everything, and I put it all back together. But you know, I built this bike on about a $200 budget, so there was just no money to put a proper engine together for it. So you know, it would burn oil and smoke. It always ran well and started great, and it was fun to ride. But just, you know, just too worn out. And one day the front brake stuck and the bike fell over and it chipped the tank, and I put it in here because I was so mad, and I never looked at it again. And here we are 20 years later. The idea of this machine is it'll be getting all of the best parts that I have, which is not necessarily new parts, but I got good used stuff. So all my best parts that I've been collecting over the years, I've had probably half a dozen of these. All the best stuff I have is going to go on this bike. We're getting it back to stock, stock paint, stock tires, stock exhaust, and it should look pretty good. So the only dilemma I have is what color to do. I'm leaning towards red, just because I have a gold one. And I don't really want to do it green, and they weren't available in too many colors. Yeah, so we've got a bit of an issue with this in that the engine is shot. So I'll show you how we're going to sort that out, and then we'll go have a look at the tank and such, and that will probably bring us up to date on what's going on with the motorcycles. Okay, here we have another 1971 Honda 750 that I bought probably, well, I don't know, I bought it about the same time as I bought all the other ones. The thing with this bike is it was crashed shortly after having a whole bunch of work done to the engine. So I picked it up from the unfortunate fellow who had been in an accident with it, and he just had kind of lost the desire to ride it. So this is going to supply the engine for the other 71, and I did hear this bike run, and it is fine. And I think it's had a timing chain done and a bunch of other minor stuff. Anyhow, a very good parts bike, and pretty complete, and a good engine. So unfortunately, this one will be a donor, but it has lots of good bits on it and lots of early stuff. Let's have a quick look at the bodywork, because that's the next thing I'm doing. We'll be spraying a set of panels for the 1971 bike, so we'll have a look at that, and then that's probably her. Oh, can't wait for winter to be over. Miss driving the Model T, but that's going to be a while yet. There she is. You waiting for Dad? What a good girl. Nice day though. Here we are. This will be the tank for the 71. I have it all ready to paint, and I just covered it in paper because I don't want to get overspray on it when I was doing other stuff. Got two nice side covers there. Later ones, this would have been black, and the stanchions, or the ears here, would be chrome. So all of that, as well as the tank, gets painted. I have all the emblems and trim and whatever, and got a fair number of parts to put a good one together. So we look at this shelf here, we can see all the best stuff that I've saved, and including some very kind donations, which I hope to be able to show you guys. And a few other bits here, some trim, emblems, chrome, stuff like that. I just thought it might be fun to have a quick look at some of the bike projects, because sometimes they get buried amongst all the car projects. So yeah, hope you're looking forward to seeing that guy come together for this year. Should be a very nice example, and happy to put it in the garage next to the other ones. If I get a chance, I'm going to paint the last two big panels for Laura's Rover today. So I'm going to get at it. We'll see everybody soon. This is a regular contributor.
Same old shit.